Episode 5. Laughter in the Face of Loss. On most days, you can hear my laughter bouncing off the station's weathered walls and the rusted metal of the passing trains. It's like a calling card. Some people say, even if we lose Gopal Anna in the crowd, we'd find him if we just listened for that laugh. But the truth is, my laughter was once overshadowed by a sorrow so deep, I feared I might never laugh again. Michael had been gently pressing me for details about Lakshmi's final days, about how I handled the grief of losing my wife and raising my daughters alone. Though I had hinted at that chapter of my life, I always danced around it like a reluctant performer. You see, some stories require extra care. If you pull them out carelessly, you risk tearing open old wounds. One late evening, after serving the steady trickle of travellers from the 9 p.m. train, Michael and I settled on the bench under the station's sole functioning ceiling fan. Outside, night had fallen over Thirupaloor Station, and the overhead lights buzzed, drawing a halo of moths. The air was thick and still, with only the faintest breeze stirring the banyan leaves. "Anna," Michael said softly, switching on his recorder, "shall we pick up where we left off, about Lakshmi's illness, and how you found the strength to smile through it all?" I nodded, exhaling slowly. Yes, it's time. A day like any other, until it wasn't. I'll never forget the moment my world shifted. It was a regular day at the station. Monsoon clouds hovered overhead, threatening rain. Lakshmi had come by in the afternoon with a tiffin of rice and sambar for me. We chatted about simple things: the cost of vegetables, the hole in our roof, the girl's progress in school. I remember her complaining about a persistent pain in her stomach, and I told her, "You should rest more, Lakshmi. Let's go to the clinic." She shrugged it off, as many overworked mothers do. "It's nothing, Gopal," she said, forcing a smile. "Just tired." Later that evening, while I was cleaning up my cart, a neighbor's child ran breathlessly toward me. "Gopal Anna, come quick. Auntie Lakshmi fainted." My heart lurched. I abandoned my cart right there, sprinting back to our shack in the slum. I found Lakshmi on the floor, conscious but weak, clutching her abdomen. Neighbors had gathered, fanning her, offering water and anxious concern. I knelt beside her, my heart hammering. "We're going to the hospital," I announced. She tried to protest, but I insisted. With the help of a friend, I half carried, half supported her to the nearest government hospital, about 2 kilometers away. It was a small, overcrowded place, walls peeling with dampness, corridors echoing with coughs and cries. Michael listened intently. "Did they admit her right away?" he asked, pen poised. "Yes, but everything moved slowly. She lay on a bed in a ward crowded with patients, and the staff seemed overwhelmed. By the time a doctor examined her, I could see fear in Lakshmi's eyes." I paused, clearing my throat. Even years later, the memory constricts my chest. They told me it was some kind of ulcer or infection, maybe worse. She needed tests, medication. We couldn't afford a better hospital. We had to make do with what we had. The battle and the prayer. Lakshmi stayed in that hospital for weeks. Our daughters, Vali and Radha, then in their teenage years, would rush over after school to see their mother. I spent my days running between the station and the ward, trying to keep up with the bills while ensuring Lakshmi had some comfort. Neighbors took turns looking after the girls when I was away. "She was so brave," I told Michael. "Never once did she cry in front of the children. She cracked jokes, asked about the station gossip, teased me for wearing the same old shirt day after day." Michael's face softened. "That sounds like her way of preserving normalcy." I nodded. "Exactly. I'd bring her homemade chai. Hospital chai tasted like dishwater, and we'd sit on that creaky bed, sipping in silence. She'd hold my hand and say, 'We've been through hard times before. We'll get through this too.' I wanted to believe it. I prayed to every god and goddess I knew." The wave of support. Word spread around Thirupaloor Station that Lakshmi was ill. To my surprise, the station community banded together like I'd never seen. The fruit vendor donated part of his daily earnings. The newspaper seller, Narayan, passed around a small cardboard box for donations. The station master approved an informal fund. Even passengers, regular ones who knew me only as the friendly Chai Walla, slipped me a few rupees or pressed a comforting hand on my shoulder. Michael looked up from his notes, eyes shining. That's remarkable kindness. That's the heart of this place, I replied. Everyone pitched in. One traveler, an older woman on her way to a pilgrimage, dropped a small silver coin in my hand and said, "This is blessed. Your wife will be fine." Another passenger offered to speak to a doctor friend in the city. The generosity was overwhelming. Yet, despite all the help and prayers, Lakshmi's condition worsened. The doctors suspected complications beyond just an ulcer, perhaps an underlying condition. They tried their best, but resources were limited. Medication was delayed, tests took too long, and Lakshmi's body grew weaker. The final evening. It was a muggy evening in July. Monsoon rains battered the tin roof of the hospital, turning the corridors into muddy puddles. The girls sat on either side of Lakshmi's bed, dozing, while I watched her breathe, each exhalation seeming like an effort. She gestured for me to come closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "Gopal," she said, "promise me something." I leaned in, tears threatening to spill. "Anything." She smiled faintly, eyes half-lidded. "No matter what happens, keep that laughter of yours. It's what made me fall in love with you. Don't let sorrow take it away." A sob escaped me, and I buried my face in her hand. "Lakshmi, don't say such things." She tried to scold me, but she was too weak. Instead, she gave my hand a gentle squeeze. "I'm serious. Our daughters need that laughter in their lives. The station needs it. This world needs it." In that moment, as the rain pounded and thunder rolled, I realized she was preparing me for her departure. Soon after, her breathing grew shallower, and by dawn, she was gone. The doctors declared her time of death just as the morning light crept through the grey storm clouds. The aftermath. Michael had set down his pen. He simply listened, eyes glistening with empathy. Nearby, a late-night passenger strolled by, noticing our subdued tone. He quietly moved along, sensing something sacred in the air. "I'm so sorry, Anna," Michael managed to say. "Losing someone like that, it must have been devastating." I swallowed, my throat tight. It felt like someone tore my heart out. The funeral was small and somber. Our daughters were inconsolable. I tried my best to be strong for them, but inside, I was a broken man. The station, my second home, felt foreign without Lakshmi dropping by or scolding me for working too long. Michael reached out, placed a hand on my arm. "How did you move forward from there?" I took a deep breath, remembering Lakshmi's final request. Initially, I didn't. I operated on autopilot. I'd wake up, drag my cart to the platform, mechanically pour chai, and go home at night like a zombie. No smiles, no laughter. My daughters worried I was losing myself. The station folks tried to cheer me up, but it all felt hollow. The day laughter returned. One evening, about a month after Lakshmi's passing, the station master asked me to join a small gathering. A group of staff and regular passengers had arranged a puja prayer ceremony for Lakshmi's memory near the banyan tree. They lit a small lamp, placed marigold garlands around a framed photo of her, one I didn't even know they had. People prayed, some wept. Even the cranky ticket collector offered a moment of silence. During this gathering, my daughter, Vali, tugged at my sleeve. "Appa," she whispered, "you have to laugh again. Amma told us to remind you." Her words cut through my numbness like a knife. I looked at the photo of Lakshmi, her wide, kind eyes, that playful smile. I recalled our countless shared jokes, the silly banter, the pranks we'd pull on each other, and something inside me clicked into place. That night, after everyone left, I stood by the cart with my daughters. The younger one, Radha, cracked a small pun about how the station dog, Raja, looked like an old uncle who forgot to shave. It was the sort of silly observation Lakshmi used to make. I don't know why, but it triggered something, and I let out a quiet chuckle. A second later, it turned into full-blown laughter, like a dam breaking. Michael's eyes lit up. That must have been cathartic. Oh, it was, I replied, nodding. The girls stared at me in disbelief. Then they joined in, tears streaming from our eyes, but mixed with laughter. Passengers passing by must have thought we were mad, crying and laughing at the same time. But in that moment, I felt Lakshmi's presence, as if she was standing there, laughing with us. I paused, letting the memory wash over me. That's when I understood. Honoring her wasn't about wearing a solemn face forever. It was about celebrating the joy she brought into our lives and continuing to share that joy with others. Reclaiming the station. In the weeks that followed, I slowly found my rhythm again. I started greeting passengers with my old grin, asking about their families, offering small jokes about the tardy trains. The station seemed to breathe easier as I rediscovered my spirit. Some folks whispered that I was faking it, trying too hard. But the truth was, I felt Lakshmi guiding me, reminding me not to let sadness bury the laughter that had once defined me. Michael, who had been listening quietly, finally spoke. So that's how you regained your joy. I nodded. Yes. It wasn't instantaneous or complete. Grief still visits me sometimes, usually at night when the station is quiet and I feel her absence. But I don't let it consume me. I honor her by living as she wanted me to, finding reasons to smile in everyday moments. A train thundered in the distance, its whistle echoing through the night. We watched the headlights cut through the darkness, sending a gust of wind that rattled the station sign. A handful of passengers disembarked, hurrying past us with tired expressions. I served them chai, smiling softly. The daughters move on. Michael flipped to a fresh page in his notepad. What about your daughters? How did they cope? Vali and Radha were strong, I said, pride tinging my voice. They mourned, of course, but they had each other. Over time, they threw themselves into their studies, determined to make their mother proud. Vali went on to become a schoolteacher. She married a kind man, moved to a town in Kerala, and now has 2 children of her own. Radha studied commerce, found a job in a small finance company, and ended up marrying a colleague. She lives in Bengaluru these days. Michael smiled. That's wonderful. Do they visit often? Not as often as they'd like. They have busy lives, but they call me regularly. Sometimes they scold me. Appa, you're working too hard at your age. I just laugh and say, but who else will give the station its daily chai? I visit them occasionally too, though I find the big city overwhelming. He jotted down a note. And do they share your sense of humor? I grinned. They do. They remember Lakshmi's love for jokes and her ability to find something funny in any situation. When we gather, we often tell old family tales that end in laughter, about how Lakshmi chased off a stray goat that tried to eat her sari, or how she once slipped on a wet platform but turned it into a comedy routine. Renewed purpose. Night fell deeper, a gentle hush settling over the station. The only sounds were the chirping of crickets and the distant rumble of another train approaching from Madurai. I leaned back against the bench, feeling an odd blend of exhaustion and relief. Michael switched off his recorder for a moment. Anna, he said softly, this is one of the most moving stories I've heard. Thank you for sharing. You've shown me that laughter can be a powerful force for healing. I gave him a half smile, my mind drifting back to Lakshmi's final words. It can. For me, it's not just an emotional response. It's a promise I made to my wife. He reached out, shaking my hand gently. I think your story will resonate with a lot of people, everyone who's lost someone but found a way to keep living, to keep smiling. I nodded, swallowing a lump in my throat. I hope so. A mysterious passenger at night. Just then, the Madurai train screeched into the station. A ragged collection of passengers spilled out, a few pilgrims, some weary labourers, and an older man who looked strangely familiar. He wore a dusty dhoti and carried a patched-up cloth bag. He paused by my cart, peering at me with squinting eyes. "Gopal," he rasped. "Is that you?" I blinked, stepping forward. "Yes, sir. Have we met?" He nodded, a flicker of recognition in his gaze. "It's been years. I once travelled through here back when your wife was alive. You both offered me tea when I had no money." Memory sparked. That old man who said he was travelling for his son's wedding but lost his wallet. I vaguely recalled giving him a free cup and some bread. "How are you?" I asked, genuinely curious. He shook his head, tears welling. "My son died a year ago. I'm travelling to see my grandson. He's all I have left." My heart twisted. "I'm so sorry for your loss." He looked at me, eyes brimming with sadness. Then, strangely, a soft smile crept onto his weathered face. "I remember how you and your wife laughed together. Even when I could see you didn't have much yourselves, you told me, 'Laughter costs nothing, friend. Take as much as you need.' I never forgot those words." Michael stood quietly, watching this exchange. I felt tears prick my eyes. So many stories, so many connections that thread back through the station's history. I handed the man a cup of chai, free of charge again. He sipped it, gratitude shining in his eyes. For a moment, we stood in silence, two people bound by shared memories and the universal language of loss. That unbreakable thread. After the old man caught another train to continue his journey, Michael turned to me, visibly moved. "Your impact here, it's remarkable. People come back even years later, remembering your kindness." I let out a small chuckle, though it was tinged with sadness. "Kindness is the only currency that never loses its value, Michael G. Lakshmi taught me that. Even in death, she's still teaching it through me." He nodded, voice hushed. "I see that now." For a while, we let the night envelop us in its soft darkness. The station began to wind down, the fruit vendor closed shop, the ticket collector dimmed the overhead lights. I packed up my cart, ensuring everything was secure. "Shall we call it a night?" Michael asked gently. "Yes," I said. "I think we should. I've shared enough heavy memories for one day." He picked up his backpack, and we walked together toward the exit gate. Stars glimmered faintly above, the moon a thin crescent. The slum loomed in the distance, a cluster of tin roofs reflecting stray beams of light. Before parting ways, Michael glanced at me. "Anna, I want to thank you again. This isn't just an assignment for me. It's a privilege to hear your story." I patted his shoulder, feeling a warmth in my chest. "And it's a privilege for me to share it. It keeps Lakshmi's spirit alive, you know? As long as someone hears her name, remembers her laughter, she's never truly gone." Michael gave a small bow of respect, then headed off to his lodge. I made my way home, stepping carefully over puddles in the uneven lane. Inside my shack, I lit the kerosene lamp, letting the flickering flame chase away the shadows. I thought of Lakshmi, her final request echoing in my mind. Keep your laughter. She understood something profound. We can't eliminate pain, but we can choose to face it with grace, humor, and resilience. Stretching out on my thin mattress, I let out a long breath. Tomorrow was another day. More trains, more travelers, more stories. And yes, more laughter. Because no matter how many storms life hurled at me, that laughter was my raft, a promise I intended to keep until my last breath.